She's knowing the divine unfolding perfect experience for each and every one of us here at Seaside during this service. And also at the back of the sanctuary, there's a prayer box. And for those of you that don't know, we actually have over 50 practitioners here at Seaside Center, and each one of them are here to support you in any area of your life. So if there's ever an area you want to have prayer for yourself or someone else or any part of the world that you want to have prayer given, there's always practitioners here after service to come up and talk to, and they'll be happy to hold prayer for you. And in addition to that, with the prayer box, if there's any area of your life or a friend's or any part of the world that you want to have a prayer for, the practitioners will be praying on that throughout the entire week. So we have some exciting announcements, and always take a look at the newsletter that we have. But one of the exciting announcements that we have is we have an opportunity for, and it's one of the most fun, amazing, energetic, exciting opportunities to contribute here at Seaside, which is the gift buyer and bookstore administrator. And it's the first time in like 10 years that this position's been available. And Kay Samuelson's been holding the space, and she's going to help transition and find another person to come in and help with this. But it's an awesome opportunity. Part of what you'll be doing if you do choose to participate in this is be responsible for the entire bookstore and all the gifts and things that they have back there that are available for guests and members that come in. So it's a really important role, and it's fun. And just like any other volunteer opportunity here at Seaside is when you take a leadership position here and give yourself, you're actually developing friendships, relationships, and having a great time and learning skill sets that are going to apply to any area of your life. So it's really cool. Also, let's see here. Sacred Circles, Ignite Your Intuition Through Folklore. These are free small groups that are facilitated, and it's in your program. Free small groups that are facilitated, taking the Sunday message deeper, and they're held conveniently at a local location. And here's the different topics that you can see. So these are really awesome small groups and just deep conversation about the different philosophies that we have and taking it to a deeper level. Also today, after service, the travel ministry and the wellness support ministry will be meeting. So if you're interested in being a part of that, if it sparks your interest around wellness or travel and you want to contribute to what we're going to be doing, you're welcome to join and participate in that. And the summer classes, there's a table in the back of the room. I invite you to look and see what we have going on. We always have amazing classes here at Seaside. So absolutely take a look, see what we have, and if anything sparks your interest, definitely do that. I've taken a number of classes here, and what I've found is an incredible amount of relationships and friendships. I see so many friends here just from that, and it's a way to go deeper into the work. So in addition to Sunday services, there's practically something going on here almost every day of the week, every day of the month practically. So just know that there's many, many opportunities for you to come in and plug in here. We also have a program for men coming up, and Greg Betts is in the back of the room, and he will be he's a longtime Seaside member, and he's got a program entitled Breakthrough to Your Masculine Freedom, and it's a live program on Saturday, July 19th, and there's also an online program available Thursday, July 24th. I know we had a women's program before as well, so see him after service if you're interested in learning more about that. Deep Sound Meditation with Deep Doja, that's every Monday at 6:30 p.m. from now through September 1st. I've actually participated in it. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. It's here in the sanctuary, and Deep Doja there's sound healing meditation. They go through all the chakra systems. There's like 100+ instruments that are in here, bowls and Native American flutes and all types of different instruments to provide sound healing, and they clear all the chairs out. You can bring a yoga mat if you want and a towel, and it's a really, really cool experience. So I highly recommend that if you have not participated in that yet. And a portion of the proceeds benefit the Bishwas Sevi Foundation to educate children in Nepal. And we also have on August 17th a Seaside Summer Picnic after the second service, so mark your calendar for that. And as always, just know that you're here and you're welcome. And with that being said, please stand up, greet your neighbor, and have an amazing Sunday.
Good morning. Please remain standing for the congregational song. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, joy gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need. Peace is my source, peace is my power, peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, peace gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need.
Good one. All right. Very nice. Boom. Hey, good morning, Seaside. Oh, what a joy it is to be with you on this fabulous day and to know that Spirit is our source, that it gives us everything we need. How does that feel? All right. Well, yeah, it does. Excellent. I like that. Anyway, Seaside's a spiritual nexus inspiring us to live our dreams, to live our divinity, and we share the spiritual tools to help make that a reality for you. It is a community that welcomes you wherever you may be on your spiritual path. We're here to celebrate life in a kind way, in a caring way, and that which just prompts us to grow and to stretch. We believe that Spirit first always and in all things, and so to move us to that deeper place right now is a wonderful practitioner by the name of Nancy Devaney. Nancy.
So we're going to do it. So if you would join me now in just sitting and experiencing the quiet. What a joy, what a blessing to be back here at Seaside, our spiritual home, where we come to receive and give love, receive and give learning, and just having the time to stretch and know who we are, and to feel the blessings of that, to feel the permission to be, just be all that I am. And to share that blessing, especially on Sunday morning when we come here to hear the music and feel those blessings and to hear God's word through Dr. Christian's message. Feeling that vibration and that healing is present right at this very moment. And so it is.
God is great, God is magnificent, God is love, God is true. I am great, I am magnificent, I am love, I am true. We are great, we are magnificent, we are love, we are true. Oh, thank you, Rebecca Jade, for reminding us why we're here. Thank you. Beautiful, and thank you so much, Practitioner Nancy Devaney, for praying us in so beautifully this morning. Good morning. I'm Reverend Christina Tillotson, and I get to especially give you a seaside welcome if you're here for the first time. So if you're here for the first time, we have a gift for you back as you go out in the back. It has all kinds of goodies and coupons for the bookstore to just tell you how grateful we are that you're here sharing your light with us at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. And if you're new, just realize that Seaside Centers for Spiritual Living is part of a worldwide movement called Centers for Spiritual Living based in Golden, Colorado, whose mission is a world that works for everyone and whose vision is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. So that's what we are all part of in this worldwide movement. And we take all of the great wisdom of the ages from the great enlightened ones and the scientists and the philosophers and put them together in a way that not only transforms our own lives, but it transforms the world in a spiritual way. So thank you so much for being here at Seaside today. And as you heard from Doug, we have lots going on. And I haven't learned how to bilocate yet, but if you want to be in the travel ministry or the wellness ministry, they both meet across from the kitchen at 12:30. I would actually love to be in both, but I'm going to be leading the wellness ministry. So please, or the wellness support group, and we have people from youths all the way through senior citizens, and we support each other in our wellness intentions for this year. So please come join us. We even have our own private Facebook page, thanks to one of our youths. So please come and join us. So today, Dr. Christian, you're in for a real treat. He's going to be answering your questions. And so I've chosen a reading from one of my favorite books by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, this faith, this way of life called Your Invisible Power. And at a convention a few years ago, I heard a minister say that we teach that God is all there is. And so a minister every Sunday gets to figure out 52 different ways to talk about that. So this is about that. I am that which I am. I am that which I am. I am the eternal presence of your own self. There is no mediator between you and myself but your own thought. This I am has been revealed to you in innumerable ways through the inspired writings of the ages. Each inspiration has been a proclamation that I am is in the midst of you. I am the writer, the inspirer, and the thing written about. I am the creator of history and the one who experiences it. I am its record and its interpretation. Everything which has ever transpired has but symbolized my divine presence at the center of it all. I am within you as the only presence there is. I create innumerable creatures, centers of my consciousness personified as people. Yet I am is the thread of unity running through all, binding all back to myself. Because I am a perfect oneness, all of me exists everywhere. Therefore, wherever you recognize me, there I am. And whether you recognize me or not, there I am. Hence it is written, behold, I stand at the door and knock.
the divine visitor, which is your true self, which is that which I am, is both the one who stands at the door and knocks and the one who opens the door. So let's take these ideas of who we truly are into prayer. Just turning to that place where I know that I am is through and as all of its creations. That is all there is. There is only that one power, that one presence, that one light, that one love, that one wisdom that I call God, and it doesn't matter what one calls it. It can be called the Tao or Adonai or Allah or Snickumdoodles. Who cares? It is all that light and that love, a spirit that emanates itself through and as all of its creation, from the tiniest atom to the farthest galaxy. It is all God, it is all light, it is all love, it is all wisdom. And that is who I am right here and right now. And each beautiful spirit here is that light and that wisdom at the perfection of God in form, sitting right here and right now in this sacred time and place here at Seaside. And so I'm knowing that out of this sacred time together, that every single question that is asked is divinely inspired, that every question that Dr. Christian answers is divinely inspired. And this whole time together is just a dialogue of God being with God. And that out of that deepening of knowing who each one is just taken into a cellular level, absolutely knowing that I am is all that matters. And I just gratefully accept this wisdom and this truth and this love of this sacred time together, this absolutely outpouring of perfect questions and perfect answers for this sacred time together as I release this word to the sacred soil of the law, absolutely knowing that it's done in perfect wisdom and love. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to introduce the guest artist today. She's been here before and you came here with, was it Ray Davis? Ray Davis. And you're going to get to hear a couple beautiful songs she's going to sing for you today. Please give it up for Miss Arne.
Good morning, Seaside. You will notice me. You will notice me. I'll be leaving my mark like initials carved in an old oak tree. You wait and see. Maybe I'll write like Twain wrote. Maybe I'll paint like Van Gogh. Cure the common cold. I don't know, but I'm ready to start, 'cause I know in my heart I want to do something that matters. Say something different, something that sets the whole world on its ear. I want to do something better with the time I've been given, and I want to try to touch a few hearts in this life and leave nothing less than something that says I was here. You was me. I'll be leaving my mark like initials carved in an old oak tree. You wait and see. Maybe I'll write like Twain wrote. Maybe I'll paint like Van Gogh. Cure the common cold. I don't know, but I'm ready to start, 'cause I know in my heart I want to do something that matters. Say something different, something that sets the whole world on its ear. I want to do something better with the time I've been given, and I want to try and leave nothing less than something that says I was Please give it up for the band. I lost my place, but they were with me. So please,
And that is our
show love for the band.
name. That's
Thank you.
Oh my. What a beautiful, beautiful song. That is just those words in your spirit. Just terrific. So thank you. That is our name. Okay, so here, once a year, we come together and I open it up to you for questions. And every year you say, I want you to do it more often. So this is the first time we're doing it twice in 1 year. And it is an opportunity for you to ask a question, and I listen, I'll deliver my spiritual perspective. And so in your question, I'm not looking for a story. I'm looking for you to, kind of laser the question so it's fairly sharp. And I will do my best to come up with a spiritual perspective on that. And so we have mic runners. Actually, we got two of them here today, so you'll actually have a microphone. And so you have a question for me. Here we go. We got Susan right over here. And
People ask me, am I a Christian?
oh, yes. Yes. Well, they ask me that all the time. And I say, of course I am. That's my name. But the question is, am I a Christian? So what I like, my response with that is usually inclusively, I include the teachings of Jesus, but not exclusively, because I also include the master teachings, whether it's from the Buddha or Krishna or wherever those words of wisdom seem to come through. So I am not exclusively Christian, but yet I do love the teachings of it's done unto as you believe, love your neighbor as yourself, and those kinds of pieces. So our staunch individuals that are just absolute Christian and nothing else, they are not necessarily happy with that, so they'll try to save you. But the truth is the truth from the beginning and even before the beginning, and it shows through many different expressions. There's many paths to the mountaintops, and religion pretty much is a cultural kind of expression to bring forth these universal spiritual principles. And so what we do is we take those universal spiritual principles that come through Christianity or Judaism or the Muslim teaching, which is all the Abrahamic teachings, but then you have the Eastern teachings. But what's interesting is that religious science, which is what we are here, we teach the science of mind. We're now called the Centers for Spiritual Living. I forgot what I was going to say is interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff about that. but it's very inclusive, and it finds that common thread of truth that moves through all the great religions and brings it forth in a cohesive teaching kind of way. So yes, we're Christian, just not exclusively Christian. So thank you. All right. Yes, Greg. Hey, you got a men's group coming up here next Saturday, huh?
Absolutely.
Congratulations. I know the women's group went well yesterday. I ran into some of your goddesses. So.
Oh, beautiful. Thank
Yes.
you. Very exciting. My question is around trust.
Uh-huh.
I have been stepping into an intention of trusting much more and finding there's a part of me that really embraces that and part of me that is absolutely terrified by it.
Yeah.
And want to know your thoughts about trusting more deeply.
Well, that's, I think, a lifelong issue. The more you can begin to trust, the more you'll have the Spirit manifesting within your life. I found it's a lot easier to live in a place of trust than in a place of fear. If one lives in a place of trust, then the mind is not always questioning, looking for that which it can't trust. The way one deepens their experience of trust is to trust more. And in that, sometimes things happen that violate that trust, and then you get to be at a place of choice. Am I going to trust again, or am I going to close up? Life is more joy-filled when you're able to trust. You are more open to receive the gifts when you choose to trust. And if you're not trusting, and you end up looking for reasons not to trust, and so your focus then begins to be on the very thing you don't want to experience. So I'm a firm believer in trusting, and when you get evidence that that trust has been violated, then it's time for a conversation to see if you want to continue within a relationship that shows patterns of violating one's trust. But I believe that we're able to trust the sun's coming up in the morning, and so for me, Spirit is one that continues to unfold, and when I can begin to trust the unfoldment of Spirit in my life, what I find is the manifestation and the demonstration that trust is the right approach. It's just a lot easier. It's a lot easier on your insides, internally, psychologically, spiritually to trust, and it all comes down to you. And you can have evidence as to why life can't be trusted, or you can find the evidence that says life can be trusted. And when things don't go the manner in which they were intended to go, you get to just be present in that and explore why not. So, thank you. Linda, right there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I had some friends over for dinner last night.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was very good. And they got into a conversation about what's happening in the world today and with the planet and the environment and unrest in the various areas of the world. And, you know, they painted this very gloom and doom picture, and little Pollyanna piped up, and I said, I don't believe that. I believe that there is a shift happening with the collective consciousness in the world, and that we're slowly going toward a better place. And the one gentleman said, well, how do you know that? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I know it from what I'm hearing from different spiritual teachers and what I hear at Seaside on Sunday mornings, and this is my truth. This is what I choose to believe. They looked at me like I had a hole in my head. So what is the right way? How do you respond to people when they want to go down that road about gloom and doom and
Sure.
what's happening in the world?
A great question. It's, with everything going on our planet, how do you not go down the road of gloom and doom, particularly when you're being given the evidence and the facts of the things that are taking place on the planet? You're watching the news and you're watching the wars that are going on. You're reading about the environment or the chemtrails or the GMOs or, all those pieces that are validating that level of concern. You then get to decide what world you want to live in because, you've got the factual information that is going on upon our planet. But the conclusion is what you get to draw. And so I choose to believe that, yes, there are things going on the planet that need our attention. There are things that are going on our planet that will expedite moving us to that level of concern. At the last service, somebody had a statistic that there will only be 100,000 people left on the world because of the gloom and doom. And what I got to say is I just don't believe that is so. As I shared a little bit last week, what I think is happening upon our planet is that there are systems that are breaking down that are unsustainable. And when a system begins to crumble, when the systems begin to break down, they gather a lot of energy from individuals and very loud expressors of gloom and doom and concern because these are the facts that all of a sudden are the ozone layer or the trash or whatever the concern is that is going on. Systems, as they begin to crumble, is because they're not working. When something is not working, it is then time to come in with the adjustment and with the fix. And like any business that is substantial in its operation, it implies systems, and when the systems begin to crumble and don't work, what you do is you fix them. What I believe we're going to observe happening upon our planet is that we are going to begin tweaking the systems that are not working. And so we have been using fossil fuel for 100 and 150 years, and we're saying, you know what, it is not a good thing. Look at what is taking place in our environment. And so what I believe will happen is that we will shift, and there are a lot of angry individuals making the collective impress that's saying this isn't working. And we will, I believe, have to, you either will make the shift or we're going to have bigger problems, that we will make the shift, whether it is to the electric automobile, which indications are that's where we're going to be in 20 years. The majority of transportation is that. We will make the shift into packaging that is biodegradable, that we're not filling our landfills. We have to make these shifts because the systems are crumbling, whether it's the economic debt-ridden systems. And so what I think is happening is the natural progression of business, or the evolution or the emergence of a greater state of being. And so one can get into a state and say it's going to be terrible, as the last person quoted, there's only be 100,000 people left, or whatever or we can begin to say that we are watching the birth of something new, and birth is messy, and this is messy, and we have never watched the birth of a new planetary civilization, and this is what it is looking like, what we're going to. And so I don't think it is the end of the world. I think the systems that don't work are falling apart. We got a lot of people hospicing them out rather swiftly as opposed to lovingly. And what will replace them are the systems that will work with the 7 billion people upon the planet, or the 8 billion people, and because what we're doing served us. It got us to where we are, but it cannot be sustained. And so what will emerge is a new way in which we are able to sustain ourselves as one planetary species, living in peace and harmony, and caring about one another upon our planet. And that's kind of how I respond to that. Yeah. Over here, pick one.
Good morning, Christian.
Good morning.
My question to you was, I'm very drawn towards the mystic. And I know that this is a field that you've studied. And of the two worlds, the nonlinear and the linear world, I really am drawn again to the nonlinear. And kind of following up on Linda's thought about, the world and how it is changing and different and stressful, whatever have you. I find as I get older, my mind is quiet, and I find that being in the mystic is just surrender to it all is really, I find it so rewarding. And if you could expound a little bit about that, or more clarity for it. Thank you.
Absolutely. The difference with the mystical realm in which leaning toward. And I am very much immersed in it right now. I'm in the midst of writing my book, Living from the Mountaintop, and it's off the publishers right now, or looking for the right publisher right now. And so I'm deeply seated in that. And it is far more peaceful. And you're talking about the linear, and that is the natural progression, the unfoldment, the Newtonian science. It's there's cause and effect, and the nonlinear, that which is more the quantum, where it's able to be here and boom, it's here, and you don't see the natural progression. But when we're dealing in consciousness with the mystical, and we're dealing with the divine, it is omnipresent, which means Spirit is already here. It is already in that place of the answer. And as you were mentioning with Linda and your concern that arises, the mystic is in that place where the answer already resides. And so as we were talking about, I am standing in a place that this is what is leading us to the next point of balance and harmony upon this planet. The mystic will know the planet's fine. The planet is not going to be destroyed by the human species. It will kick us off before it allows itself to be destroyed. The planet is fine. And so the mystic is one who absolutely feels its oneness with all life. The mystic is one who is not concerned about death, because in the mystical perspective there is no dying, because you were never born. It is the continuity, it is the unfoldment, it is the expression. It is in a place where there is no time or space, because it is all present and it is all available. But what we get to do is, in our human incarnation, is we bring the abstract into form. In the mystical realm, it's all undifferentiated. It is all there. It's wonderful. It's absolute. But, what good is that? It's nice, and that's what you want to tap into when there is a human condition, an issue, because where you're coming from is far greater than the human condition. But if you want to experience life, if you want to experience the joy, if you want to experience love, if you want to experience relationship, if you want to experience the magic, it needs to take form. And that's what begins to happen in this physical realm, is the unfoldment. You are necessary for God. Without you, God would be all this wonderful infinite potential, and yet unformed. What you get to be is that conduit and that avenue through which it takes form, and that is the linear unfoldment of that infinite potential. And so both of them are essential when you're coming from that place of absolute connection direction, then there is that spirit which is absolutely potential taking form in your world at the manner in which you are able to direct it. And so the choice becomes yours as to which realm you want to play in. You know, they talk about a person walking in the jungle and they're aware of tigers that are there. And then the psychic, which is not mystic. The psychic deals in the subjective realm. It is dealing in the realm of in the realm where you have the unfoldment of energy, and the mystic is out there, or the psychic is out there in the jungle, and they're aware, or there's a tiger out there, and they're aware, and so they're not in the tiger's realm. And the mystic is just one with it all and just sits down and meditates and gets eaten. And doesn't care. Yeah. So, you know, there is a place for it all. So you want to know your absolute connectedness with all of life, which is invaluable. So when conditions show up, you're not bound by the conditions. What happens in our human experience is that we forget that we're more than what is going on within our body or in our world of affairs. And all of a sudden we have the experts validating what's going on in your body, forgetting that the body is responsive to the consciousness that is within it. You know, we've talked about time recently quite a bit, the epigenetics, where at the molecular structure of your DNA, science is proving that it changes through the environment, which is consciousness, which is feeling, which is food. You are no longer physically bound by your heredity. Science is telling us that. So what does that mean? Is that the energy of who you are is able to direct the physicality of your experience. So the mystical is a great place to play, and what is essential is for you to be the spot where it comes to the world in a relevant way. So thank you. Let's head to the back, right next to Brian there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What my question revolves around the word belief. Through my evolution from a young man to where I'm at today, I've believed many things that I found to not be true as I got older. And the thing that you look back in history, they believed the earth was flat, and they absolutely believed that.
There's still a society that practices that today.
So just because I have believed something, just because they believed something, doesn't mean that it is absolute true. So how do I deal with that?
Okay. So when we're talking about belief within our own body, what you want to do is move beyond belief, because that's a mental thing. And so if you're working upon moving beyond belief, that's a deep knowing, and that's where you want to go. You want to know that your connectedness with all life. What one wants to know is that life force that breathed you into existence. The physical facts is what you were talking about in terms of belief, that we believe that everything's solid or that the world is flat or what have you. Those facts of this world are what are constantly changing. But when you come to know, which is beyond belief, because the beliefs are changing. Beliefs are what we hold in our subjective field. The beliefs are what people put out as facts. Those are of this world, and those are what are changing, and that is what is evolving, and that is what carries one to one point where you realize, you know what, the world isn't flat, and let's go out and explore, because we've been studying and we're coming up with something greater. Life is continuously emerging. Life is continuously moving us to that next level, so we can believe at the highest level of our possibility at that spot. But belief is still working within your mental or your subjective realm, and that's what operates. And so that belief is true for those individuals. Those who believe the world were flat, it was flat because they weren't going out. It's not the fact. People believe that they are bound by their genetics. That is their truth and that is their belief. But that is not the scientific facts of what today is saying. And so with beliefs, you have to be willing to not be stuck in your belief systems and recognize that there is a place for emergence, because the whole teaching symbol of religious science is a V, which symbolizes that we are open at the top. And that is why some religions get stuck, is because they are holding on to their religious beliefs when there is new information that says it is not so. The beauty of religious science is that it is unfolding, but the spiritual principles that are unchanging, like the immortality, like our sense of oneness, those mystical qualities that we were talking about, those are the pieces that are the constant, and that's what we get to work with. And so the spiritual principles of is like 1 + 1 will always be 1. It was at 1 when there was nobody around. Well, if somebody could do the calculation, it was, because it always had 1 + 1 = 2. Come on, you know. Those are the spiritual kind of truths that we are working with. And so where we're told is done unto you as you believe, it is really that deeper cellular knowingness level that we're talking about. So there's two levels here. There is a belief, which is a mental and earthly facts, and then there is a deep knowingness, which absolutely is your whole being, and we talk about the embodiment. And that's what our spiritual practitioners, when they do their prayer work, they come from a place of deep knowing that it is that the word they speak is the truth, and that is finding form. And so the truth is not what they want. It is the emergence of the wholeness. It is the emergence of that which is right for you. We're not trying to get you to be anything that you're not intended to be. And so often people's prayers are, hey, God, I want you to do this. In our philosophy, we believe that what I want to do is come into alignment with what is the best and perfect and highest healing here, and speak from that highest place and know that there's room for that. So we are open at the top, but we don't want to be so open our brains fall out, is what Ernest used to say, you know. So it's a delicate balance between belief and knowing. So does that help? A little bit. Okay. All right. Let's go with George, then we'll go with Harv. How's that?
Throughout history, mankind has demonstrated a tendency to be corrupt, have greed and dishonesty. Do you think we are making any progress in the world to eliminate these traits? And if so, how can we continue?
Throughout time, we have been a bunch of hoodlums. You know, I don't really know if that is the truth. As I was sharing last week of the cultures that were not violent, as proof of, you know, no walls around their city and no signs of battles or mass graves. And, you know, there was a greater sense of trust. I think as it's part of the progression, as we move forward, we begin to, you know, see those that have and those who have not. I think what we'll begin to see is a greater sharing of the resources for humanity, because that's the manner in which it has to be. And so as we begin to come to know our spiritual roots, and I think that is the beauty of our teaching, is that it is a philosophy and it's a way of life and it's a spiritual practice. As more and more individuals come to know that their source is spirit, and that is what moves from their consciousness, that they are no longer looking outside of what others has as what they don't have. I think what begins to happen when you know your source is you no longer feel that you need to take from somebody. And what I believe is happening, which makes me feel we're on the right track, is that there is an emergence in terms of a greater following of spiritual principles than ever before. And as we begin to move in one direction, you see pendulum swinging in the other direction, but I believe it's moving us to a greater sense of balance. And so, yes, we live in a privilege here in the U.S., and yes, we can, you know, speak out about those who have and those who don't have. But even those who don't have here in this country are in better shape than a vast amount of individuals around this planet. But I believe as individuals begin to move forward in knowing their source is not on the outside, but from the inside, that we will stop seeing those challenges and those atrocities. When we stop being dependent on resources that are not renewable and begin to come from that which is within us, we will find that we are able to no longer need to take from the commons, but rather we are able to generate from that place that is inexhaustible within inside of ourselves. And so I believe that we'll move away from your concern as more and more individuals begin to recognize their true source. And so what is happening is more people are moving forward in this new thought philosophy than any other social order in the U.S., according to one of the reports from the New York Times. So with that, you see the movies coming out. You see, yes, you've got your wild shoot-'em-up movies or blow-'em-up movies, but you also are watching more heart movies come forward. You're watching more books out there being bought by the public. So what I feel is that we are moving in a direction that is more in alignment with the flow of Spirit as opposed to that which is unsustainable and needs to be taken or stolen from individuals or countries. So I believe that things are crumbling, so we can have what rises that will be far greater. So my thoughts on that. There we go.
Thanks. Morning again.
Good morning.
Morning
again,
to
Harv.
all of you. I love coming here on Sunday. It's what I call my spiritual God shot.
Good.
You know, and it lasts. Sometimes it lasts all the way until I get back to Rancho Santa Fe Road.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So one of the things that I've been trying to do is find a way to carry it with me all day and all week if possible, to the best of my ability, which means probably at best 4 days out of 7. I found that the God shots are like, for me, going into a gym, watching everybody work out, hoping that it'll tone me up. So I found that didn't work. What I discovered was that there are classes here which help everyone understand and move away from the quick fix to something they can take with them all week long.
Yeah.
Can you explain, please, how that works for us?
Absolutely.
As we get a greater understanding?
Okay, great question, Harv. Thank you. And how can you sustain it? And classes are definitely a good way. You travel the world, which I know you have. You'll find in a lot of the homes, they've got reminders of Spirit and little altars that are set up in their home. They've got spiritual art, there's spiritual statues. And so what is important is to recognize as you're doing that it's more than just a Sunday morning fix or a Wednesday night fix. And this is to remind us and give us the shot and give us the jump, if you would. But yes, you want to practice it. In our classes, we have all sorts of levels. Like starting next week, all of you, I encourage you and invite you to sign up for the Sacred Circles. That's a no-cost, convenient evening in a neighborhood near you, an opportunity to take the spiritual message to a deeper level. I'll be talking about for the next 5 weeks folklore that was inspired by the book Women Who Run with Wolves, and they're filled with rich spiritual meanings, and they are going to be offered by practitioners, and so you can do that. There's no cost to that. Or we have other classes, we call them enrichment. The costs are not that high, and they're on Saturdays, or there are other nights. And then we have the certificated classes, and those start in the fall. And to get involved and continue to be around people of like mind and to be engaged in the conversation, what you want to do is to play with people of the like mind. What you want to do is be in conversation with people who can help you take an idea further rather than having to defend a position. You want to go with one and say, hey, let's go further down that rabbit hole and see where Spirit is here. And so, do your spiritual reading. You start your day with meditation. You start your day with my book, Joyous Living, 365 Days. I've given you a spiritual shot at home. You can click on our podcast. We have 370 weeks of spiritual messages. And so what you want to do is surround yourself with people who can help you expand your conversation. And when you're down, because that's what happens when we're being human, is this our classroom that can help you step up with a higher perspective. You want to do your readings that inspire your thinking. You want to be in the classes so you can begin to have the spiritual practice, so you can hear the newest information that's there. And so what you want to do is totally saturate yourself with the spiritual environment in your home, in your business, and just everything that constantly you look at that is spiritually inspiring allows you to move to that place of remembering. So when you're out in the world or you catch a news clip from CNN, you don't see the war, you see God there in the midst. And your friends who don't think like you say, what, you crazy? How can God be over there in Syria? And all of a sudden what comes forth from you is a spiritual truth that is not a belief, but a truth that comes from a deep knowing of the mystical connection that we are all one, and that the planet is not falling apart, but things that are crumbling are allowing something greater to emerge that is within our lives. So thank you for that. So that's it. Last question was right here, and then we got to wrap that up. And I usually then point you to classes because I do this in January, but they're not going on now. So, it's Sacred Circles. Yes.
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 Okay,
That's what you keep saying. You keep saying, say yes.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's my whole point.
That's what the universe says.
That's
yes.
it.
What do you
That's
want?
it.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Yes.
you keep saying up there every week, be your best, most magnificent, expanded, go for it, out of the box, amazing self.
Yes.
Yes? Yes. Now, with that, we have the other part of us, sometimes called the ego. And the ego, can run one way, or we're afraid that the ego's pulling us that way. And how do we know always that we're moving into the light of being all we are meant to be? And here, pressing through those aspects of ourselves that go, well, I don't know if I can do that much, or I don't know if I can be that much. And so I'd like to hear from you, because I know you've worked through a lot of these things through the years. How do you deal with that?
Okay. So how do you deal with that ego, and how do you push through? I sometimes give the ego a bad rap, but part of the truth is it's a valuable piece of our persona. It's what gives us the courage, the conviction, the assurance to be able to move forward in our life. It sometimes gives us the strength. John Wayne said, courage is being afraid and saddling up anyway, And that's the value of, what the ego can do, can help you step through. But it also then sometimes can get you to be a little bit too out there and big and all that. And for me, what helps keep my ego in check is that no matter what I do here on Sunday, it doesn't help me for next Sunday. And if I'm not behaving myself and I'm thinking it's me, then it's I got a problem, because Spirit won't give me words next week. And so I've been taught that. I think there's one time someone came through the door and said, "Christian, man, that was the best service. I was so good." I said, "It wasn't me, it was God." And she just looked at me and said, "It wasn't that good." Yeah. So personally, I've got, there's 900 of us that help me keep me in check. But so with that said, what I've learned is that the difference is inside myself on what it is that I feel. When am I going to make a point and try to state something so it sounds profound, or is it something that wants to be said in this point? And what I have come to learn is what it sounds different inside of myself, because it's a constant battle. You got the good Christian and the little devilish one going on in there. And so what one am I listening to? And so I've learned to be able to distill the difference between the voice or the energetic inside of me. And what I found is when I am speaking, and sometimes if I'm saying something controversial or conspiracy or egotistical or whatever it is, what kind of filter does it come through me? Is it what needs to be said? Is it what feels right? And am I able to say it without attachment, that it is received in a particular kind of way? The ego usually wants to make an impression, and when the speaking is just coming through, it's not a matter of trying to make an impression. It is just being that mouthpiece and that for the Spirit to express itself. And so where that ego is valuable is it gets me to up in front of people sometimes, or it gets me to get a book out there, or it gets me to, for us to buy this place. It gives us the strength sometimes when the questioning, doubting, false humility kind of person is playing its games. And what I recognize is we have aspects of all of this, and it's about being in balance and calling forth those different pieces. If you can get yourself out there and then get yourself out of the way so Spirit can move, it all has its place. And so what I've come to notice is that inside of me, I'm very clear of the difference, of the energetic difference inside of me. And what I've also come to recognize is people observing what's going on can really tell the difference too. So a lot of people who are very egotistical based, the world knows it. You don't have to say, "Man, that guy's egotistical." Well, people know it, And so I just do my best to continue to get that part of me out of the way when it doesn't apply. So does that help? Good. Okay. Yeah. We're out of time. Little time. Who wants to talk? Lisa or Attila? Yeah, I surfed in Costa Rica, and it was great. It was fabulous. You know, the waves are always perfect. The water is warm. Doesn't matter if it's high tide, low tide. It is just ideal. And so thank you for asking. All right. You know, we're out of time with that. And so should we do this twice a year or just stick with once a year? Okay. So January, we'll do it again. And you are welcome to take classes anytime or see a practitioner. But what I want to do is call back to a fabulous singer today. That is Arne. She just, heart, soul. There is no ego here. There is pure spirit. She gets herself out of the way and becomes that mouthpiece for the celestial sounds to touch down for us all. Without Arne, God would not be sung in this moment. So give it to us.
The strangest thing came to me on this morning as I arose to greet the coming dawn. The sun was hardly peeking through the garden. It felt as if everything was as one. Then I wished that I could come back as a flower, as a flower, as a flower. How I wished that I could come back as a flower, as a flower, to spread the sweetness of love, to spread the sweetness of love. Rainbow is barely peeking through the garden. I envied all the silence I saw growing, so unmoved by things out of themselves. Then I wished that I could come back as a flower, as a flower, as a flower. How I wished that I could come back as a flower, as a flower, to spread the sweetness of love, to spread the sweetness of love. As a flower, as a flower, as a flower. Yes, I wished that I could come back as a flower, as a flower, to spread the sweetness of love, the sweetness of love. band, everyone, please. Thank you so much.
That is our
Thank you all so much.
name. That's it. Thank you. All right. Hey, well, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness and the sharing of our love and our financial support to sustain this spiritual community that is near and dear to our hearts. And as we give, it comes back to us. It's not why we give, it's an extension of our consciousness. It's the activity of Spirit as our very life. And so I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward at this time and say thank you to this wonderful crew. And thank you to those who mailed in your contributions this week when you can't be here. It's greatly appreciated because we have regular ongoing responsibilities. And thank you to our home viewing audience and those that remember us with the auto tie, that regular systematic support from your world, the Seasides. I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that the divine blessings of Spirit unfolds in this moment through each and every one of us. For the richness of Spirit blesses and uplifts and transforms the very world in which each of us walks. For we're living in a world that is abundant, and that there is a deep sense of well-being that comes from knowing that the source is inexhaustible and that it is omnipresent, and that we become the very channel through which it moves. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to reflect and to remember and to know the wealth of Spirit. It's my life now. So it is. Amen. Together, let's say the affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. And so as I stand before this bounty of love, I know truly that which has moved through our individual life has blessed us and enriched us, and we give, bringing greater blessings to our individual worlds and definitely bringing the blessings in a greater way to Seaside. For this collective gift of love, this emergence of a greater expression of Spirit that has moved through our lives, bringing a deeper sense of well-being and security, I know touches Seaside in a heartfelt kind of way. It is received in love, it is handled in good stewardship, and it's sent forth back into action, bringing the blessings and the joys to all whom it comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this moment of realization of the true infinite source that is ours, and so it is. Amen. All right, thank you. This is Valerie Rodriguez. She is your board secretary, so thank you for your support. Speaking of thank yous, guys, man, way to tear it up. Boys from Seaside, that's Lynn Willard on the Brusendorfer, Hollis on the drums, Tom Bishop there on the bass, and Bob Mathis on the horns. Making the biggest noise for them is our excellent guest artist of this morning, the beautiful Arne Batson. Thank you for driving all the way down from LA this morning to be with us. It's great. And Rebecca Jade, it's always a joy and a blessing to have you here. And just thank you for taking the reins for Fran for the next month or so to give her the support she needs. And you are a blessing to all of us, and we look forward to you. And Dr. Christina, joy to share Sundays with you always. Know your wellness group goes well after service. Giving us Sound Days Ed, giving us the visuals Marv. Great job, guys. Thank you very much. Know that there's CDs available right after the service if you would like one. And Cliff, thank you for live streaming this to the world. It is greatly appreciated out there. I know that for sure. Flowers are gorgeous. Chantal, I saw you roaming around here. Are you here, Chantal, for your dear friend Marion Affleck? We just love her, you, flowers, everything. Anyway, there's a lot going on at Seaside. Take a look, see what is in there, like a wonderful grandparent workshop for next week. You're asking, how do you surround yourself with applicable information? Well, Pat Hansen wrote a book, Invisible Grandparents, when your grandkids have moved away, or it's going on. So next Sunday after service. But what I want to do right now is pray. Healing is the thrust of our movement since it ever began. And it's not just the words, it's having it manifest in our lives. And so I invite you to join me in consciousness. I invite any of our religious science practitioners to stand so we can just feel this upliftment of this life force, this vibrancy, this divine emanation, this wonderful expression of spirit that transcends all things. That is the omnipresent aspect. That is the mystical side. There is oneness. There is no otherness. And so as I stand in this light and this awareness, I become that place of knowingness that is beyond a belief. I become that emanation of life itself, and I speak as Spirit speaks in this moment, the truth about each and every one of our lives, which is one of Spirit expressing. It is one of wholeness. It is one of the emergence of a greater sense of expression and understanding and love and light and life. And any of the human challenges in doing this thing called life brings human challenges. There's no need to have judgment around them. The human condition is what is experienced in this world, but I know right now that which each of us is far greater than any of the human conditions. And so when there is something going on in our physical body or within our relationships or our finances, it is an experience that our soul is able to embrace and to look at and to understand and to grow and to evolve and have that be a place and a point of transformation, for truly each of us is an expression of that infinite, that is eternal, that is immortal, that is birthless, deathless, that is truly an expression of life. And this has been merely one stopping point for the soul's deeper understanding, for the love that brings us together continues to bring us together throughout time. I'm grateful to stand as a witness to the transformation that takes place at the individual level as well as the planetary level. For the earth that we are upon is all right. And I know right now that we are learning how to be all right upon this earth. That our world leaders are moved by a deep sense of wisdom. They're moved by love and heart and understanding. And there is a shift that is taking place. For the old systems that are crumbled are being replaced by the sustainable ones that are working. I'm grateful to know that we have been birthed into a world for a time such as this, to hold that high perspective, to know that all is well, and that what is unfolding is in divine order. I'm grateful to know that there is always an answer. There's always a higher understanding. So grateful that this is true at the individual level, within our body, within our soul, within our relationship, within our finances, within all areas. It is also true on a larger scale. The macrocosm, microcosm, as within, so without. The old mystical teachings, the wisdom of the ages. And so truly the blessings and the wisdom of Spirit moves within our individual lives in this world, and that we live a life that is fulfilling, that is grace-filled, that is rich, dynamic, healthy, vibrant, alive, that each of us are contributors in our own unique ways at whatever point in life we're in. And this I say thank you. I'm grateful for the words I've shared, that they are the truth, that are manifesting, that it is God first in all things, and with that comes the revelation as to what's next. So I trust this with an unshakable conviction that the words we have shared are relevant and true, are healing, transformative, and happening. I let go to this deep knowingness with an unshakable conviction in the divine right action always as my life here and now, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Said I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Seaside, sing! So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah.
Hey, and our affirmation is, all my questions are divinely answered. Let's say that together. All my questions are divinely answered. Touch your heart and believe that it's so. All my questions are divinely answered. Think of one of those questions and say this right now. All my questions are divinely answered. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love, living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor our truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living